According to reports, Travis Kelce is leaning toward returning to play in 2025. And my stance hasn't changed at all. I don't care if he retires tomorrow. He's coming back, in my opinion. These guys will oftentimes, when I say these guys, I mean the players that are kind of at the top of the position. And I know he's not what he used to be. I'm not saying he's going to have a remarkable 2025, but when a player like Kelce, a player like any player at the top of his position that was once at the top of his game, they don't want to go out the way that Kelce would be going out. And I think there's no way that even in August this man isn't thinking about it differently, watching all of his boys working, getting ready. August is much different than February, March, April, May, even June. Those are times where veterans don't like being on the field, and when a player is wanting to retire, they're really thinking about it hard in that time frame. Then in August, they start missing it. There's no way this guy's going to sit out one more year. Now, the question is, how valuable will he be in fantasy? Can he be top 5 to 8 tight end material? He's not number 1. He's not number 2. He's not number 3. He's probably not top 5. But is he worth grabbing where his ADP is, which is in 10, 11, 12 round territory? The answer is yes, whether you hate him or not, whether you dislike his relationship or the way he carries himself, or you're tired of the Kansas City cheap news, whatever the case may be, you got to think smart. And you got to say at 10th round value, which might change with this news, obviously, but if he lingers around round 9, 10, it's a no-brainer to grab him. You could even take another Evan Ingram right where he's going. Evan Ingram's going around 9, and sometimes before, sometimes later. And you take an Ingram and a Kelce, you're set. You know, it's not a bad move. Travis Kelce to return. More news, talk about rookies, whatever you want. The Fantasy Football Show begins right now.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
So, yeah, not the greatest, player anymore. Not the biggest news. No one really cares, to be honest. It's a pretty big name, a pretty big topic, but I will say that at round 10 value, it's a damn good deal. If you had to pay like round 6 or 7 value, I don't like it. I think one of my favorite tight ends, and we're going to do a complete entire video on him walking into 2025, is Sam Laporta. I think Sam Laporta is going to win leagues for people. Sam Laporta might just be on a Moon Man, Mars Man type of list here very shortly. Don't tell anybody. That's a secret. That's top secret information. But Sam Laporta is a bargain, an absolute steal. And I love drafting Sam Laporta in Best Ball, Underdog, code Smitty, link in description, link about to be dropped in the live chat right now. Make sure you hit that link so you can draft with us tonight. Prepare now by signing up. Hit the link. It takes 2 or 3 minutes. Sign up now. I'll pin it in the live chat. And we'll jump into drafts tonight, and we'll see where Kelce goes. We'll see where the rookies go. But Laporta is probably my favorite tight end this year at cost of entry. And quite honestly, that probably will be the lead of tonight's, drafting. So I'll put it, usually when I draft, I don't do this like boring old, just going to draft constantly. Just do draft show. It's so boring. It's so boring. When I see it, I want to vomit. We break news. We talk about strategy. We talk about players. And when I do a draft show, which is pretty much graveyard shift, midnight Eastern, we go live, we do a draft. I make it about something. We have a prediction at the top of the show. The monologues about Sam Laporta or about this or about that. So I'm gonna be talking about, most likely, unless news breaks about something else, I'll be talking and leading with Sam Laporta, why you should be drafting him, why he's gonna dominate for you, why you can win a league with Sam Laporta in 2025. That will be the top of the show tonight. Tonight we're talking about Kelce. I'd rather have Laporta, but we're talking about Kelce. I'd rather have, honestly, a lot of Ingram, a lot of players that go kind of late that shouldn't go late. I like those players better than Kelce. Kelce's not the most attractive player. But 10th round value, why not? especially in best ball. Why not? Take him around 10. Not a bad deal. Got a not a big news day today. Diggs, the door's always open, says Nick Caserio, who's one of the better GMs in the league, I might remind you. Nick Caserio says the door is always open for Stephon Diggs to return to the team. This might not be that crazy of a concept because I don't know that these guys have a market. Higgins will soon be off of this board because he'll be tagged. Therefore, he's not a free agent anymore. He's no business being on this board. He'll be eliminated from this board. So Higgins won't be on the board, or he signs an extension. Godwin, probably, I would say 80% chance will be in Tampa Bay next year. The news broke yesterday and the day before, was it, that he decided to move his void year to the day before the new league year begins. That way the team can work on potentially getting that extension done, getting him under contract before that void year kicks in, and they don't want to deal with that. And for Godwin to move that year to the very beginning of free agency, the new league year calendar year begins, that means he's trying to stay. That means Godwin's saying, here's a solid, let's buy some more time. Godwin's staying in Tampa. I'd even say Godwin staying in Tampa is 90%, 85 to 90%. I feel like I can say that. So Godwin staying in Tampa, Higgins getting tagged. Once we remove those guys from this board, it's Amari Cooper. It's what? Cooper Kupp gets released. Kupp probably won't get released. He'll probably get traded. Debo won't get released. He'll probably get traded 50-50. So really, it's the trade value of Debo. It's the trade value of Kupp. It's not the free agent wide receiver because there are none except for maybe Amari Cooper, who I think could have a little bit of gas left in the tank. But Diggs, he's not going to have a market. Maybe a team or two would bite. I'm not saying he has no shot at going somewhere, but this could be one of those things where he tucks his tail between his legs. He crawls back to Houston. Something he knows he can get a contract. Coming off an ACL tear. The thing about guys that tear their ACL or go through a traumatizing rehab-intensive recovery, like an ACL tear, an Achilles tear, last thing in the world they want to do is mix in learning a new offense, a new team, all of that along with the rehab. He's got enough rehab ahead of him and continuous rehab and trying to stay healthy. The last thing in the world he wants to do is add a whole bunch more to his plate. So there's a real good chance that this gets talked about more as the offseason moves along. So know that. This piece of news is really the only other piece of news that was notable to talk about that we haven't talked about already. This one right here. Athletic Diana Rossini said that the Steelers are discussing everything at the quarterback. This is being talked about after we've already heard that Russell Wilson's not even a consideration. But I think this is Diana Rossini just mentioning that in general they don't know what they want to do. I don't think they're looking at Russell Wilson. It seems like they turned away from that idea pretty harshly, which again is why we're so hard on Tomlin, because Tomlin is more contemplating Fields than he is Russell Wilson, because Russell Wilson again does not feel like an option, and that's a fireable offense for Tomlin to have moved away from Fields, continued to stay with Russell Wilson until the end, and then now is admitting that it should have been Fields. That's a fireable offense in my opinion, or a tradable. Trade Tomlin, get rid of him, start anew, mutually agree to go separate ways. Tomlin is just a disaster right now in Pittsburgh. Let's see here. That's the news, guys. There isn't a lot to go over. But phone lines will be open, and then we'll be back tonight. The show's not ending now, but we'll be back tonight when we talk about Laporta and put Laporta on the. Oh, did I just ruin it? Laporta might be going on a list tonight, so get ready and dialed in and buckle up, because it's going to be a wild ride tonight.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Dial in. I'm going to be pulling up all my sources and pulling up X and looking at all the news right now, seeing if there's anything worth talking about. A.J. Brown doing interviews saying that he's going to they're going to need to fight. They're going to be hunted. They're going to be the hunted. They're not doing the hunting. That's just a way of trying to make yourself the underdog. The Eagles aren't the underdog, A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown's acting a little weird lately. The reading of the book on the sideline, interviewing him right after the Super Bowl, instead of being like positive and saying good things, he says weird things like, I thought this would feel different. I thought I'd feel satisfied. It's like he's almost trying to like shock everybody. Shock value with A.J. Brown. Reading a book on the sideline, shock value. What are you going to do about it if I read a book on the sideline? Hey, A.J. Brown, you happy about winning a Super Bowl? What are you going to do about it if I don't like that I won a Super Bowl? Hey, A.J. Brown, you guys are clearly on top. What are you going to do about it if we're being hunted? We're not the hunters. Everyone's coming for us, and they think that we've got to do this and that in order to win again. What's he talking about? A.J. Brown's acting funny right now. And he caused a lot of controversy during the season. Last about season and a half, he's been a locker room problem. And everyone's kind of glossing over it right now. I like A.J. Brown a lot. I'm not saying to avoid him. I'm not saying he's a bust. But he's got a lot of knee concerns. And then, he is getting older and he's acting a little kooky. I think there's a chance that he has an amazing year. But there's also a chance this is a year where A.J. Brown misses some time. Hey, Smitty, how do you feel about Tyler Warren going and his landing spot affect his ADP compared to now? Rock on, bro. Thank you, Michael. Appreciate your $5 hauler, you monster, you. We like Warren a lot. He's a rookie tight end for those that don't know. He's the top rookie tight end. He's getting a lot of hype right now. I like him a lot. I do. I think his landing spot could get me on board really quickly. Not that I'm not on board, but with tight ends, they evolve very quickly or very slowly at the NFL level. They do not traditionally jump off in year one. Just because Brock Bowers did doesn't mean that Warren's going to, or the tight end position is changing. Laporta had a really good rookie year, then he had a bad sophomore year. Tight ends just evolve slowly at the NFL level, and I don't think that's set up to change right now. I think it could evolve as the tight end position evolves in the college game, but it's got to evolve differently in the college game. Right now, it's kind of trending to the way wide receivers used to develop. They come into the NFL, they take 3 years, their third year breakout. Remember the third year breakout? That was what it used to be. Now it's a little bit, it takes a little bit longer for a tight end usually to evolve. So Brock Bowers does not open the door and pave the way for other tight ends. But a lot of people think that Warren's like near the same level of good as Bowers. So maybe he also can be one of those guys that doesn't pave the way, but he's the exception, not the rule. I just think that what I'm waiting for is a landing spot with him. I don't want to get too crazy and put the cart ahead of the horse on a position that's historically not been one that can translate quickly. And if we start putting the cart ahead of the horse and start ranking this guy like way ahead of where he's going to be based on landing spot, it can get a little tricky. I'm not saying I'm scared to rank him strongly now and then adjust later. I'm very much not one of those people, but if he goes somewhere where he's got a good quarterback and a good situation, you'll see me hype him up pretty quickly. I think it's okay to be a little bit reserved on some players, some rookies before March. It's February, February 20th right now. Everybody can't get hyped. And I just, with the position and the history of the position translating in the NFL, he's one that I'm just saying, let's see where he goes before we put him to the moon. But I like him a lot. He's got a lot of talent. Warren could be a good player. Sean from Buffalo, then over to Travis. Sean, what's up? You're live, pal.
What's up, buddy? How are you?
I'm good, man. What can I do for you?
Good. Question for you. Completely off topic, but not a lot of news tonight, so I figured I'd throw it at you here. If you could do your little whiteboard deal, just kind of give me your opinion. Keeper league, I get to keep Brian Thomas Jr. in the 10th round. And now I have selection in my draft next year, and I have my choice of picks 4 through 10. So, with that being said, I know it's early, but what are you thinking? Which pick would you take? And
I'm not following you. BT can be kept in the 10th round, and then what's the question then?
And then so after that, I get my choice of picks 4 through 10. 10-person league.
You mean your draft slot?
My draft slot.
Yep. 4. I'm always going to take the higher pick. Especially when, you're bringing up that other pick, so much closer, that third round pick. I'd rather have one than any pick, just because of the fact that you're getting 24 and then you get 25. I want to bring this third rounder up as high as possible, especially when you're writing in keepers. It makes it even more of a need. Now,
well, my options would be selection 4 through 10. So I wouldn't have the option to get number 1.
I got you. I'm just saying 1 is my choice.
Oh, okay.
And then as you start going down, it's basically 1, 2, 3, 4. There is a point where I start saying maybe I like the idea of 12, but I don't know, bro. If it's me, I'm going to take that, especially with the RBs, the way the RBs are falling. The higher you get that third rounder up there, so if you can get that third rounder, so your third rounder will be 3.4. So if you get that so you have the 1.4, you get your second round pick, and you got that 3.4. There's a really strong likelihood that you're getting one of the last of players I would consider like even remotely close to second round capable.
Right.
You're probably going to see, I don't know if Bucky will be kept. I don't know if Breece Hall will be kept. I don't know if Kyron will be kept, but we've been seeing those players fall into the third round a lot. And being that everybody's going to keep one player, it's hard to say that you would see that same result in the third round. But I just want to pull it up higher. And then the fact that these quarterbacks go so late, JD5, Lamar, Josh Allen, this could be a good quarterback selection point. If for any reason the third round, because of everybody keeping one player, doesn't look as good at 3.4 as you would have hoped, this could be where you strike at a QB. So you get a RB, or wide receiver RB, or RB wide receiver. You got BT, and then you take your quarterback, and you have one of the top 2-3 quarterbacks in the league. I'm a very big advocate of early quarterback.
So knowing you got Brian Thomas at that 4 pick, are you looking at one of those 3 running backs that's going to make it there? Barkley, Gibbs, Bijan? Or are you looking at a premium Jefferson to team up with Thomas and then hit, second round?
Tomato, man.
Kyron third.
Tomato. If I'm in a best ball draft right now, code Smitty, link in description, link pinned. We'll be drafting tonight, so click that link and sign up ahead of time so you're not wasting time. Tomato, man. If I got the 1.5 on Underdog, like I'll do a lot of slow drafts. So on Underdog, I'll click, little board, and then there's a 30-second timer toggle, and then you can toggle over to an 8-hour timer. I do a lot of the drafts, with you guys live, obviously, but any draft I do by myself, I usually do slow ones because I like them, and it gives me time to get them all done. But when let's say I go in and I do a little board right now on Underdog, and I select 5 drafts, right? I select 5 slow drafts, and then I get the 1.5 in all 5 of them. I'm going to mix it up, bro. I'm going to have Gibbs here. I'm going to have Bijan here. I'm going to have JJ. I'll even take Neighbors in one of them just to screw with everyone and say, that's my boy. I try and get him at 1.6 or later, but there's no real answer here. I can't just tell you go because you have BT, you go with Bijan. Like JJ's fantastic, man. I mean, I wish I could give you a formula with that, but there's nothing that I would vary at every draft I had. I just variance is very good, but I don't know. I guess because you have BT, it wouldn't be a bad approach. I do think if you know your league well and they're going to scoop up and hoard all the RBs, then maybe it is smart to go RB. But you kind of got to know your league. Does your league typically value RB more than wide receiver?
Yeah, they do.
Then I think that's probably your answer. I think I probably grabbed an RB, pair them with BT. Now you have potentially 2 top 7 overall players, one of them being top 5. BT was number 4 wide receiver last year, but let's just say he's like wide receiver 5 or 6, whatever. It's still great. And you get the number 1 or number 2 or number 3 running back. That's a good start. Then in round 2, I mean, it just depends on, I can't give you a game plan because it's flow of draft that's going to determine what to do.
Yeah.
Go running back.
Good deal. Appreciate it, my man.
All right, man. Later.
Later.
Yeah, running back's probably best for him. Actually, Travis, hold on 1 second. Let me hit BBQ's message here. $10 holler BBQ. You're going to mother freaking Mars, my mang.
Brees Hall
Whoa.
is 8 foot tall.
Whoa. If the Patriots and Seahawks can fix their O-line issues plus new OCs, what kind of value do you see with Stevenson and Walker? The one thing I'll say about Stevenson is that they extended him. They got him on a new deal. They don't really have, I think, the draft capital to use on an RB. Maybe one later. And if like somebody like I don't know, Dylan Sampson, who I love, fell far enough, and you never know how these guys get ranked on draft day, then all of a sudden you do have somebody that can compete for the starting job. But for the most part, I don't think Stevenson's going to be seeing any competition. So I really like Stevenson from a cost of entry standpoint, and his ADP is tremendously affordable ADP, and I'll pull it up right now on Underdog. Underdog's fresh ADP data on Stevenson is, wow, 99 overall. 99 overall. You just can't beat that. I'm not saying that it's the best pick in the world. I'm not saying that he's my favorite running back. He's RB30. That means that he's essentially thought of as almost not a starting running back in the National Football League from a fantasy football perspective. That's a really good value. So my answer here is no matter what, whether they fix everything right away or not, Stevenson's a freaking steal. You're talking about J.K. Dobbins. You don't even know where he is. Charbonnet, who I do love a lot, though. ETN, I love ETN with Bigsby cuffed. So those are some good running backs right below him. I'm not saying that they're trash. Najee Harris, Brian Robinson Jr., Swift. There are some decent players below him. So it's not like Stevenson slipped into the abyss, but I do think there's a good value there. Not somebody I'd scoop up in every league at 99 still, but it's pretty damn good. Pretty damn good. As for Walker, it's hard to say, man. I think Kubiak wants to run the ball a lot. I think he also wants to focus on getting the most out of JSN. This is a guy that worked with Justin Jefferson. This is a guy who worked with Brandon Ayuk, Kubiak, during Brandon Ayuk's 2021, I believe, breakout campaign. And then he fell apart after Kubiak and left. So Kubiak's worked with some great wide receivers, and when wide receivers, and he's been a wide receiver coach, and when he's worked with wide receivers, they've done really well. Now it could be correlation; it's hard to really know, but Kubs feels like a pretty decent guy, and he comes from an amazing bloodline, Kubiak. So I like him. I like him a lot. I think this is a good situation. And I believe the team's talked about a fullback potentially in Seattle. They want to go back to a balanced attack, which I think might scare some people away from like JSN and DK, but it doesn't for me because the team's reportedly moving on from Tate. I just think is a real or what did I say? Tate? Tyler Lockett. What was I thinking? Golden Tate? I think I was thinking Golden Tate. They're moving on from Tyler Lockett from all accounts. So I think that you can dial back the pass even a little bit, and it's not going to affect JSN at all. But we do need them to focus on the run. I'm truly torn on whether I'm choosing to draft Charbonnet without Walker and take another player in Walker's pretty decent, still costly ADP range. I do think it's fun to cup the two, but I find myself, and if you look at Walker, Walker's got an ADP of 58. Right above him's Hampton. I like Walker as much as a rookie where we don't know where he's going. Monty's right below Walker. Monty might be even a little bit safer. Probably good for 10 scores. Kamara, Chuba Hubbard's 1 or 2 spots ahead of Walker. Joe Mixon, a spot above that. Kyron, a spot above that. So Walker's like flirting with the kind of dangerous territory. And I find myself, so Walker at 58, I find myself looking at a receiver like Rashee Rice, who's oftentimes right there with Walker. So it's like, do I go another route? Now, if I start hearing them pump Walker up big time, I might be back in because I love the kid. You know, I also don't know if they might trade him. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. Hard to say. Running backs don't really get traded. The market's value is not really there this year for a trade of that caliber of running back. I don't think you get enough that would make it worth it, but you never know. But Walker, I like a lot. These are good questions, but there's a lot that needs to be, I think, revealed before we can really say what Walker's value would be. Denny, appreciate you being on the line here. Let me go to Travis first, Denny, then I'll come back to you. Travis, go ahead.
With Ramondre, I agree with you. I've always liked Ramondre. I think it'll be a lot easier to know after the draft because I don't think they'll use a high pick on a running back, but they're going to draft one. And so it depends on where these guys fall. If someone good falls, possibly. And the fumbles are a concern, but he had no O-line last year, so we'll see how that washes out. And the last thing is Josh McDaniels. Josh McDaniels doesn't necessarily use, one back as a, quote-unquote bell cow type guy. He likes those James White types and even the Gibson types. And so it'll be interesting to see what they do and how that offense shakes out. But like you said, at that ADP, I mean, I'm drafting him at that ADP in at least, a chunk of my teams on underdog. So I like him there. And then just real quick, I'll let you go to Denny. Did you see anything about the report? And it's smoke season, I know, but maybe you could speak on it. The Chiefs checking in on the availability of DK Metcalf and how you think that would be as a fit.
I'll look into it more. I don't know that there's any seriousness to it. That rumor, where did it? Was that a substantial?
Let me see if I find
substantially
a
known
weird
person.
team.
I'm muted.
What's up? What's up, Denny? What's
Travis,
up?
who the hell do you think you are? Travis, listen to me when you go there.
What's up, Denny?
Head on.
What'd you
You
say?
think you got this? I don't know, man. I think you're acting like you know everything.
Whoa, Denny. Travis
telling
is...
you what's going on in New England, Denny.
I'm calling out Travis. Let's get some homegrown beef going.
Yeah, homegrown beef.
the hell
What's
do
your
you think
beef
you
with
are,
Travis
Travis?
for? What did Travis do to you? Is he speaking out of turn?
You don't like my Ramondre take? You don't like my Ramondre take, I think.
I know.
We're worried
No,
about
but I'm
Ramondre losing his job.
I gotta calm down. I gotta bring it down.
Denny, do you got any evidence here?
Who the hell do you think you are?
You got any evidence or any sort of claim here? Because you just keep saying that, but we don't know what you're actually mad about. What are you beefing about?
All right, coming in hot.
Yeah, I'm coming in hot.
What's your problem? Denny, state your problem. What's the problem?
Oh, what do you mean? Am I supposed to get loud? Let's have a
No,
conversation.
what is your issue with what he said? What is specifically...
He's laughing. He's not even mad at me. My beef, Smitty, I'm sorry. By the way, Smitty, man, I appreciate it so much for letting me on here, but...
Denny, what's your beef?
I think Ramondre's...
Okay, Ramondre.
Zero.
Finally.
I'd like to say that. Ramondre's nothing from a nothing team. I'm just not proud of the Patriots product right now. And
You sound like a worn down Patriots fan. Let me tell you something, Denny. As a Patriots fan,
okay.
and by the way, I'm trying to. I don't see much on this DK thing. I see people saying
there wasn't. It was just a report. It was just like a thing on some NFL rumors thing. And
Yeah.
I like I said, I figured it would just smoke, but I wasn't sure if you had seen anything more on it. So I just figured I'd ask because it's a big name,
Hey, Travis, can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah, there's nothing on it that I think
You
is
ever play any
legit.
ball?
Denny.
I love
What?
Travis. You ever play any ball? You ever play football?
Oh yeah. Not football, but baseball growing up.
Baseball, you slung
All right.
it. Yeah, you slung
All right,
it. You had a
that-
good arm.
All right, no offense, Denny. This ain't a get to know you show. All right, let me get back to it real quickly. DK Metcalf, First of all, I don't think the Chiefs would even explore this because the Chiefs have probably one of the best wide receiver rooms in the entire National Football League already. Rashee Rice and Worthy. They could they look into it? I mean, maybe, but I just don't think so. I think it's all smoke. People saying they're expected to look into it. Let me just tell you another thing, too, especially coming out of KC. KC, and I give the San Francisco 49ers a lot of a hard time, but they're another team that qualifies for what I'm about to say. There are certain teams that if they're going to do something, they're not letting anybody know. The Niners, they don't have a loose ship or whatever, loose lips, sink ships. There's nothing like that going on.
Loose lips, sink ships.
Yeah, they don't have that. The Chiefs don't have that. I don't know. I just don't.
Grab a protein shake. Go grab I'm giving you a break. And I'm going to talk to Travis for a minute. Yeah, take a break. And we're going to talk. Me and Travis are going to talk.
Okay, I'll give you the road here, but it better not be about, how's your garden doing? Are you growing cabbage? Like, can you bring up something football related, Denny? I don't know that I trust if I went to go get a protein shake that I wouldn't come back and you'd be talking about some deli down the street that you and Travis might have been to together.
I would never go against you.
Okay.
Because you're my boy, Smitty. But I need to talk to this guy. I don't know what the hell's going on with him. Want it.
Okay, so go ahead. Ask Travis what you need to ask him. Then I got to move the show along. This is
I love Travis.
You're bringing it.
He's wandering away, right?
You're bringing the show to a crawl, Denny. Yeah, let's talk football, Denny. It's a football show.
Hey, we're talking about football.
Okay, well, so why are you so down on your New England Patriots? You're not excited about Drake May?
Oh, I love Drake May. His mechanics, I love everything about Drake May. Sweetie, I love Drake May. And guess what?
What?
I love Joe.
Joe Milton.
Milton.
Well,
we had an argument, and this is where I'm trying to get. I want value from him. You know what I mean? No. Love Drake May. Milton? Holy shit.
I remember, Spider, you called in and started arguing with me about Joe Milton when I told you how good Joe Milton was. You didn't like anything I was saying.
I did.
I had to put you in your place.
Years ago.
And you missed last night's show. Last night's show was all about Joe Milton. You didn't even call in. I don't even think you rewatched it.
A long time ago, all right?
No. Denny, I know, but Denny, last night I did a Joe Milton show. I did an entire show about Joe Milton. And we had a bunch of haters in the chat going, it must be a slow news day.
You did it because of me. The only reason why you did the Joe Milton show is because of me, all right? Because you know that I know the talent of Joe Milton. The only reason why you did that is because of me, all right?
All right, hold on. Let's let Denny answer the super chat from BBQ. If the Giants get Stafford or one of the QBs in the draft besides Neighbors, could they support Tracy and Theo Johnson? He wants to know, is Tracy a good, viable fantasy option if they get a quarterback?
Hey, is Travis here?
I'll take this one. Denny, I'll take this one. Don't worry. Yeah, if Tracy is their starting running back, yeah, I think he'll be pretty decent. I don't know that I trust him fully. He kind of a debacle end of the year, but Tracy's still a good player. I wouldn't say he's a young player, but he's not. I think he's turning 26. I think he's a 25-year-old rookie. Ziggy, how old is Tyrone Tracy?
Tyrone Tracy Jr. is 25 years old and was born on November 23rd, 1999.
Yeah, he turns 26 this year. He's got one more year and he's done. He's going to hit the dreaded 27-year-old season. But I do like Tracy a lot, BB. Hold on, Denny. Hold on. As far as I know, it's still my show. I really like Tracy. I really like Tracy at cost of entry. And it seems like, looking at the ADP, Tyrone Tracy has about 70 to 80 overall ADP. That's by Pollard. That's by Jalen Warren. That's by Aaron Jones and Pacheco and a few rookies like Caleb Johnson. That's a pretty damn good territory to draft Tyrone Tracy. Now, if Tracy were to climb like 10 ADP spots, 20 ADP spots, and started flirting with like Kenneth Walker, David Montgomery, then I'm probably not as intrigued. But you can't dislike Tyrone Tracy's ADP when he's getting drafted around guys that aren't even solid potential. Okay, thank you, BBQ. As far as Theo, I don't know. Theo Johnson's got, I guess, appeal, but we'll have to wait and see on that. But hold on, Denny, hold on. But if Matthew Stafford ends up going to the New, if Matthew,
talk to you. All right, okay, I'm calm now. All right, fine. I'm waiting.
If Matthew Stafford ends up on the Giants, Neighbors is going from already wide receiver 3 or 2 or 4 in my book to 1 or 2. If they get, let's say, Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders, he goes from where I already have Neighbors without a quarterback in my top 5 wide receivers. He climbs all the way with Cam Ward or Shedeur. He climbs right to 2 or 3. So I'm predicting the Giants to have solved their quarterback problem. I think they either have, I don't know that it'll be Stafford, but if it's a Stafford, so be it. But I think they either have a Fields. I really like Fields in New York. I've been saying that Fields to one of the Denny, stop! This is your last warning. Fields to one of the New Yorks is one of my favorite landing spots for Justin Fields. Stafford to New York, Shedeur or Camden, New York. Any one of those things happen, and I think one of them will. Neighbors is going to wide receiver 1 or number 2 overall. It's him and Jamar Chase. Okay, Denny, go ahead. I don't know what you're trying to say over there.
I was trying to go ahead. Why are you yelling at me?
Because I can't even speak on my own show. But go ahead.
This is my show now. All right.
All right, go ahead, Denny. Denny, what do you think? What do you think? What are you thinking? All right. You got a minute. Denny, we're gonna put you on a timer. You got a minute left.
Really? No.
Yeah, Denny. You can't look. You can't take offense to this. You can't take offense to this. But sometimes you get a little off the rails, and the show can't handle it. There's people that are watching right now, and the viewers are going to start trickling away if I let you just continue to interrupt me for 18 minutes. No one's going to stick around. They like it for 2 or 3 minutes, but when you're in this mode, I can only cap you at a 2 or 3 minute time frame, and then you're out of here.
We're having a fight now, huh?
Okay. Denny, you got 30 seconds. You got 30 seconds. You got 30 seconds.
Don't do it.
Okay.
Don't do it.
Finish him.
He's just not coherent tonight. I know a lot of you love Denny, and I love Denny, but he's not coherent enough tonight to keep on the phone line because he's not even listening or answering questions. He's just rambling. Denny, I love you either way, but I got to keep the show moving. Phone lines are open.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Sometimes he takes that hard, sometimes he doesn't, but he's got to understand he's just rambling tonight. But anyway, if anybody missed that Joe Milton video, go watch it. It was last night's Graveyard Show. It got a little heated because there's some haters in there. They were like, Joe Milton, what a dumb prediction. Like they were just, the crazies come out at night. And so we had a few bad apples in there from the jump, but I mean, I don't care what anybody thinks. Joe Milton, to me, is one of, if not the most underrated quarterbacks in the National Football League. And I say that from a perspective of, we're talking about who's being overlooked. I'm not saying there isn't a quarterback that isn't going to be a top 7 quarterback, top 5 quarterback that's being underrated. I'm just saying out of the gems out there that no one even knows what's about to potentially develop. This kid could develop into the next Cam Newton. And when I say Cam Newton, I know it's easy to make fun of Cam Newton. It's easy to look back and go, oh, what a joke. He failed out eventually. But think about Cam Newton when he was dominant. This is what Joe Milton is. And Joe Milton's a Cam Newton with an amazing arm. He's an amazing arm talent. He reminds me a lot of Josh Allen in that Josh Allen was made fun of more than Joe Milton coming out of his rookie year. People have very fickle memories, very cloudy memories. Josh Allen was made fun of as the worst passing quarterback in the National Football League coming out of his rookie year. The guy's a gadget player. He's Taysom Hill's, basically, before Taysom Hill was even around. He's just a runner. That's all Josh Allen will ever be. He's a runner. You're wrong, Smitty. And before he took an NFL snap, I called that Josh Allen would be not top 5, top 1 to 5 in this league. Josh Allen would be a superstar. And everyone said, coming out of his rookie year, Smitty, he can't throw at all. He's garbage. Joe Milton gets made fun of less than Josh Allen. And so when I say this guy could become an amazing arm talent, it's wild to me. People don't even have an open mind to it. Go watch him throw before you open your mouth. People just start rambling and opening their mouth on Joe Milton, and they haven't watched him play. They didn't watch him absolutely destroy in Week 18. And you could say, oh, Week 18, no one cares, Smitty. You can say whatever you want. I don't care. What I see, I saw before he ever even joined an NFL team. We talked about Joe Milton. Somebody needs to take a chance on him in the NFL draft. The New England Patriots did, but then they didn't because they had 2 quarterbacks. They double dipped. I was screaming from the rooftops, the Raiders should have taken Joe Milton. This is not he looked good in Week 18. Let's just come out with a weird prediction. Go watch the video. John, you're live.
Hey, Smitty, if you're the Patriots and you want to expedite the whole trust process system, would you ever consider trading Drake May to Tennessee for their first and then the following first and roll with Cam Ward and Joe Milton, or just keep Joe Milton? And I only say that because when you look at college QBs, the cutoff mark is usually like a 65% completion percentage rate and whatnot, and he really only hit it once.
Those percentages
last year, but it's the year before.
Yeah,
and Cam Ward, he threw like 4,000 yards all 3 years. 2 at
I know,
State
but
and the last one at Florida.
I don't think if you're the Patriots, you give up on a guy that you've already invested in. He's your guy. There's a lot that goes into it. Like starting over again. They're happy with Drake May. There's a -% chance that the Titans trade. That the Patriots trade for the Titans' #1 pick using Drake May. -% chance. I'm not saying that logically, like if you said, Smitty, gun to your head, go make it work, I could make it work, but that's not the reality. And I'm not saying I even like the idea. I'm just saying you told me, Smitty, I'm going to hand you the head coaching position of the New England Patriots, the GM position. You're the decision maker. But when I hand you the job, I will have already pressed the button to trade Drake May away for the #1 pick in a future first rounder or whatever you said. I could make it work. Because I like Joe Milton, but I'm not saying I wouldn't draft Cam Ward. I still draft. But it's not happening. It's a irrelevant conversation. What else you got?
And do you like Drake May? I mean, I watched him last year, and it's like the last 8 games, it's literally interception, again and again and again.
Well, Drake May's a good quarterback, bro. I mean, he's also arguably the best rushing quarterback from the draft class, you could say. No line, no receivers. I'm not saying that JD5 isn't mine. I'm just saying Drake May, he was a scrambling monster. So I get why some people might have some hesitations with him, but
I'm with you. I like Joe Milton. He had one game, he threw 2 TDs, 0 interceptions, and then you look at Drake May, and literally, I know Travis said he didn't throw a lot of interceptions, but if you go look at the stats, literally the last 8 games, interception, 1.5 every time. Even though they don't have anybody, but you take a guy like Joe Burrow, he threw 60 TDs in college. You take Jaden Daniels, 41. Drake May, most he had 33, 34.
I think Drake.
When
I
is
think
the
Drake
cutoff
May's a
rate?
pretty.
Is it going to be this year? Is it going to be next year?
I think Drake May's a pretty consensus top 10 quarterback moving forward, bro, for pretty much anybody. I don't.
May,
It didn't have any
Drake May is
weapons,
also
bro.
only 22 years old still.
He didn't have
He
any
didn't have
weapons,
near
my
the-
boy. He didn't have any
The
weapons.
experience of those guys.
You know, if he had John, if he had weapons and failed, it'd be one thing. He didn't have the weapons that Bo Nix had. He didn't have the weapons that JD5 had. He didn't have the weapons that certainly didn't have the weapons that Caleb had, and Caleb failed to utilize. Didn't have the weapons that any of the other quarterbacks had, and he did pretty damn good. I don't think people in general are coming away with the same feeling that you are with Drake May's rookie season. I don't know. I kind of feel like you're vibing off something different.
I understand looking at the stats. The stats aren't good, but that's a very small piece of the picture when you consider the situation. I understand I'm a Patriots fan, so I try to take my bias out. You know, I'm obviously rooting for him, but in the way that his footwork and everything else improved from the time they drafted him until the end of the season, there was marked improvements. So, you know, you're not going to give up on a guy like that, and you want to see him win even just a. I mean, they didn't even have an NFL starter on their line at one point last year.
John,
like guys would not make other teams. That's how bad it was.
John, I'll answer it this way. I'll just say again: do I like Joe Milton enough that if someone handed me this team and pressed the button before they handed it to me, they traded away?
Agreed.
I could make it work. I can make it work. I love Joe Milton enough. I can make it work. We're not on the different pages there, but there's no way this is happening. There's no way this is happening. So this is like a fairy tale conversation. There's just 0% chance it's happening. So like it's kind of like, why are we even talking about it? But I
appreciate it. And if Ted lands there, would you take him in redraft? I mean, obviously in basketball it's kind of a crapshoot.
If Ted lands, I like Ted and I like him there with Drake May. Sure, Drake May. You know, there is some inconsistency, like inaccuracy issues with Drake May, but he was coming off a rookie year with no weapons, and he didn't have a lot of opportunity to develop and cultivate because he didn't have any help. So, but Ted McMillan is the perfect receiver because of this ability that he has, his catch radius, his ability to grab these errant throws that might be a little bit off. Like Ted's going to make those look good, and he's going to connect on them. So Ted's perfect. If Ted goes to New England, it's a really good landing spot. If Ted goes to Ted McMillan goes to, like, I don't know. Here's the NFL draft order, and he's going in the top 10 for sure, and he's probably going in the top 5. Let's say Ted goes to Jacksonville, which is a talked about landing spot. That's kind of one where I don't know how I feel. I don't know how that affects BT, and I don't know how that affects Ted McMillan. I know it's great for Trevor Lawrence's development. Hell, that's awesome. But I don't know if I'm really excited about that landing spot at all because it's telling you one of them is going to be the number 2, and I hate that feeling. And BT was so good last year. Like, how is BT going to be the number 2? But Ted McMillan is so good, he should be a top 5 to 10 receiver in the National Football League. So that's one reason why Jacksonville's considering it, because of the weaponry you're giving Trevor Lawrence, who you're kind of worried about making. You maybe made a mistake in getting this kid as an organization. Can we go protect him? Can we go get a player that can really solidify his rise and return to where he kind of once was starting to play? And he did, you know, at the end of a couple seasons back in the March his team into the playoffs. Remember, he went into the Denny's and everybody was cheering him on. Like, we're like, wow, this kid's rising. We had the milk, the Law Dog milk. Like, there's a lot of upside with Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence, anybody writing off Trevor Lawrence right now, it's the same vibe of writing off Baker Mayfield. Like, I think he can return. There's no doubt about it in my mind. Will he? I don't know. But Ted McMillan's landing spot's going to be different in Jacksonville than in New England. I love Ted McMillan in Carolina. I think the way that Bryce Young peppered Adam Thielen, we know that he'd be taken care of there. I would hate Ted McMillan in he'd be good in Dallas for Dallas. He'd be good in Dallas for Dak, but that would be another place where you just don't know you're going to get enough out of him. And there's some serious talk about Ted falling to if he fell to 12, that Dallas would pounce on that. But I don't think he's falling. I think Genty has a better chance of falling to 12, and we're hoping that Dallas grabs Genty there. All right, John, appreciate you.
Yep, later.
Wow, we got Bruce on the phone. Bruce, what's up, my guy?
Hey, Smitty.
Where you been, bro?
I work nights. I've been working nights.
Well, I mean, I'm live during, I'm live all the time.
I was working, so I was actually on the clock when the show was on, so I'd always listen, but I could never call.
What you got, Bruce? What you got for me, bro?
I'm a Vikings fan, so is it okay if, would you rather have McCarthy or Darnold?
It's a good question. And for those that don't know who Bruce is, because some of you are maybe newer watching the show, and Bruce has been away for a while. His mother is Miss Robeson, right here.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special message from the Bruce's mother.
Get Bijan.
That's Miss Robeson. That's Bruce's mom, also known from this clip right here. That's Bruce's mother. So you're talking to a legend. Good question, Brucey. I don't know. I'd probably say...
How about both?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm leaning to. But there is a report today, this probably should have been on part of the news, that there's just one rumor that the Vikings may be leaning toward letting Darnold test the market. But we heard that one before. That report was earlier, and then the newest report was they haven't made their decision about whether they're going to tag him or not. So I kind of tend to think that the Vikings are 50-50 torn on tagging Darnold or letting him test free agency. The answer is both. The answer is both because of what Darnold was able to do, and the fact that, just like the Falcons, you'll have your backup plan ready to go if it doesn't work out. Hence, you'll have a lot of money tied into Darnold, similar to the way the Falcons look right now with their money tied into Kirk Cousins, $100 million guaranteed dollars that just go to waste. But if I had to choose one, I'd probably say Darnold, because I don't know. I wasn't the biggest J.J. McCarthy fan. I'm not saying he can't do well in Minnesota, because Minnesota's made Darnold look good. So I think McCarthy will look good in Minnesota. I'm not trying to root against him, but right now he's not 100% healthy yet. He's coming off an injury his rookie year. I want to say, I wish I had the numbers to back this up, but I want to say that when quarterbacks end up starting that way, where they get injured their rookie year, and it's not always the greatest climb, because you end up being behind. You just end up getting behind, and there's no way to get back. I'm not saying always. I'm just saying I don't know what McCarthy is. I know what Darnold is, and Darnold may have faltered at the end, but we can't write off everything Darnold did throughout the entirety of the year. He didn't trip and fall into those numbers in production. So I'd probably lean toward Darnold, but because McCarthy's on roster committed, the answer is both.
Okay. Yeah, because I had this debate with somebody, and I was debating, and I was saying, tag Darnold and trade him. See what he's able to get.
For sure.
Okay.
That's why when someone said they're letting him test free agency, like that rumor that was out there today, I didn't even really report on it, because I think I'm not saying it won't be true, but why would you not tag Darnold? The trade market's there for him. He's a sought-after quarterback. The trade market is very much there for him. So I don't know why, because you tag him and then you don't have. It's not like you're asking a team to take him for 2 first-rounders. You're tagging and trading him, and the market value there for a tag Darnold. So let me put it this way. Is Darnold worth signing to a long-term deal to one of the NFL teams out there that needs a quarterback? The answer is 100% yes. I'm not saying he'll for sure work out in another system. Maybe Minnesota just got the right amount out of him, and Minnesota made him look good, and then he did unravel. But if he was a free agent, he would 100% get a team. He would be the top quarterback in the market space. He would get a team. So if you tagged him, are you telling me all those teams are out? There's not one team that's willing to give up draft capital, and no one's saying you have to give up a first rounder, Like, no one's giving up let's just call for craps and giggles, a second-round pick. You're telling me if you're the Giants, if you're the Raiders, if you're a team that has no quarterback, you got no shot at a Cam Ward or a Shador, the Giants kind of do. You're telling me you're not interested in trading for Sam Darnold? He's got a market if you tag him. So I don't believe that he won't get tagged. I believe he'll get tagged.
And I do have one more about Minnesota. They're comparing Rodgers to Favre, okay? In the sense that he'll leave the Jets and go to Minnesota. There's no possibility of that, right? Like they're not going to let.
You got to think he would say no to that because the optics of that are awful. You know, and it almost makes it look like he's copying him. Like, I don't know, it's really bad. I don't think he'll do that. But he's also, I don't know, I'm kind of torn. He's also the kind of guy to be like, that's just stupid. You know, I don't care about, you know, he's kind of that guy too. I don't know. The optics are horrible though. Goes to New York after Green Bay, goes to the Minnesota Vikings. I don't know. If you're superstitious at all, you probably don't want anything to do with that. But Minnesota's a great system. You know, that would be if they made Darnold look as good as Darnold looked, you got to think Aaron Rodgers, who I still think has a cannon. You know, the preseason he looked great. It's just I don't know, but then part of me wonders, is he the problem? You know, is he just in a place in his career right now that even if he's got a good arm, he just can't, you know, he just can't do it anymore. I don't know. I'm not sure. It's possible, Bruce. There is a possibility. But I would say a small possibility. I don't think Aaron Rodgers will be the Vikings quarterback. But it is a possible yes.
Okay.
All right, Bruce. Appreciate you, bro. Call in anytime.
Oh, wait. One more.
Yeah.
Which running back's the best to hit the free agency market this offseason?
Well, it's a bleak running back stable, bro. It's probably Dowdle and Dobbins. And Aaron Jones are looking to extend. Najee, he's in there in the mix too. He's not a very good running back stable, and the market value is not there for him, bro. They're not in a good spot. These rookies look better than them. Hey, Bruce, can you do me a big favor? How hard would it be to get your mother to if you could record a video clip, and if you could do it horizontal, not vertical. I don't want the bars on the side. Do a horizontal video.
I'll try.
Okay, say get neighbors. Or how won't you be my neighbor? give me that. I want that. Won't you be my neighbor? Bruce, you get me that. You get me that. You're a legend beyond the legend status you already have on this channel. Okay. Won't you be my? Isn't it? Won't you be? Isn't that the phrase? Won't you be my neighbor? I wanted to say, won't you be my neighbor? Bruce, I need it. Don't try, Bruce. Execute this one for me. Get it done. Okay?
Yeah, she's sleeping right now, so I can't.
Oh, that'd be perfect. Wake her up. Say it just natural. What are you doing, Bruce? All right, Bruce, I need that video within the next week, though. Okay? Please. All right, later, Bruce.
All right. Later.
All right. Farb, and then back to Travis. Farb, go ahead. You're live.
What up, man?
What's up?
I'm wondering where you're at this year with Trey Benson. I know last year you were big on him. He didn't really get a chance. He got a little injured. And Connor, you know, I'm wondering where you're at this year as far as what's changed, or you're still, you know, thinking the same things as last year or setbacks?
Yeah, that's a tough one, bro. As much as I like him, you know, sometimes you look at a situation and you just wonder, is it going to line up? Is there something going on? Let's look at his end of the season, because he was starting to get used a little bit at the end of the year, if I remember correctly. Let me pull up his game log.
I think he got hurt towards the end of the year, didn't he?
Well, but he was getting used so yeah, I want to say he had that touchdown against the Bears in November, and on the 3rd, and then he had 62 yards rushing, 10 carries, 6.2 a pop. The next game, 18 yards, but 4.5 a pop. The next game, 20 yards, 6.7 a pop. The next game, 2 carries for 15 yards, 7.5 a pop. And then I think the game he got hurt. So, I mean, he was doing really well. Like, yards per carry on the year, he had 4.6. I don't know. I like him, but I don't know that I'm, like, banking on anything, you know, because it's relying on the Cardinals. And the Cardinals' decision to not throw to MHJ all year long has me rattled as to whether I can trust a single thing in Arizona. I don't know what the hell's going on there. I think the Cardinals need to rectify that. They need to make right their wrongs last year with MHJ. And if they don't, this is a joke of a franchise, joke of an organization. To take MHJ and make it look like they were going to turn the page. You know, we're going to be a different team. We can take a guy like that, you know, and this is the kind of team that's going to let MHJ go to another team after his first deal. This is the kind of team the Cardinals are right now to me. I'm just sick when I think about how they misused MHJ. I am hopeful that they're able to turn the page. I'm not saying that they can't. I'll be there to support the Cardinals if they do. I'm just not banking on it because I don't know. I don't know if they understand how good Benson is. I don't know if they understand how good MHJ is. I don't know if they understand anything. I mean, even McBride, not getting McBride touchdowns all year long. I mean, it was crazy wild. It was a wild year. Hopefully the Cardinals figure it out. I like Kyler Murray in some ways, and I can't stand him in other ways. What else you got, Farb?
I don't know. That's it, man. I guess I know you're big on Scatterboo. I see, like, he's not, like, you got him, like, ranked second running back, right?
I mean, it depends. I mean, it depends on landing spot. Right now,
up there.
Right now, he's 2, 3, 4. Yeah, Hampton's 2, 3, 4. Caleb Johnson's 2, 3, 4. They're all so good, but so situation dependent. You know, they're just going to be that kind of crew. Yeah. The Niners are such a threat to take Cam Scatterboo. You have no idea. This is the most Kyle Shanahan running back I can find outside of Christian McCaffrey. This is what Shanahan loves as an RB. His style, everything about him. So Scatterboo going to the Niners would be devastating. Horrible for his value. You know, maybe 3 years from now, something happens. I don't know. Look, Shanahan took Ricky Pearsall in the first round last year when they didn't even need a receiver. I don't know where the Niners are going to take Scatterboo. Second round, sure. I can see him doing it, bro. I could even see them, and Niner fans come in here like they've got some authority to talk on this. They don't. I'm sorry, but nobody does because Shanahan will do whatever Shanahan wants to do. There's even a risk that the Niners take Genty at 11. It's not the greatest chance, but it's a significant risk to Genty's value.
And they don't have Adam Peters there to
Adam Peters is everything.
Make those good picks later on, but two, balance things out and, you know, sometimes put Shanahan in the right way maybe. But
what didn't they
were
take?
Able to rely on Peters to get those gems.
Where did they take their punter? Or no, their kicker. Where did they take? What round was he?
Wasn't that like the Moody third or fourth round?
It was the second or third round or something. Jake Moody. Ziggy, what round was Jake Moody drafted in?
Third round.
In the 2023 NFL Draft, Jake Moody was drafted in the third round, 99th overall, by the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah, I don't want to hear anybody say that Shanahan is incapable of taking Genty at 11, Scatterboo in 2, a wide receiver in round 2. I don't want to hear it. Shanahan is capable. Without Adam Peters was the brains behind all of the draft picks.
With Debo on the way out, Pearsall, he finished the year pretty strong. He's got to be in line with AU coming back to get some work in there, I'd imagine.
Sure, but that doesn't excuse where they took him. That's the most common response most people give me is like, yeah, Pearsall's looking pretty good. There's no rationalization that explains taking a second-round wide receiver in round 1 when you didn't even need a wide receiver. They passed on Cooper DeJean, who was the pick. Everybody knew that was the pick. And when the Eagles, they got video footage of it where Howie Roseman's like, just, oh my God, like Cooper DeJean's fault. Like, what is going on here? Everyone knew Cooper DeJean was going to be a stud. We talked about it every day on the Quad Box on Instagram when I go live with Raj and all the Niner fans. All the Niner fans wanted Cooper DeJean. He was not some kept secret. He's not some guy that, oh, he looks better than anybody thought. No, we all knew he was going to be a superstar. And the Niners shit the bed harder than I've ever seen it done from that slot. So it doesn't matter if Pearsall's good or going to be used. It was a horrible decision. But I do like Pearsall, but it does nothing. It's not relatable to this conversation. He could have been had in the second round. What else you got, Farb?
That's it, man. Not too much. Not too much.
Yeah.
Trying to get that core board though.
Yeah, you gonna get it? Code Smitty, 10% discount.
Yeah, I gotta look into it.
Yeah,
good though.
Yeah, it's awesome. Sometimes you just need something to, whether it's a gym membership or whatever, to get you in the frame of mind. Anybody who wants to get this 10% off if you use code Smitty, I'll drop the link right now. 60-day challenge. I'm going to be ripped in 60 days. I'm already like 6-7 days into it. My core already feels like a lot stronger, hence why it's called the core board. Just doing all those workouts with the bands, you hold your body tight, like in, especially the press. Your abs get like locked in when you're using the press, and it's great, man. I love this. I got to do this dragon flag for 45 seconds is the challenge. I got to hold this for 45 seconds, and then if you flip the other way and you put your legs where the bar is, and then you lower your chest down and you tap your chest down and go up, I got to do 5, what do you call them? I'm blanking out on the name. What are they called? Somebody tell me what they're called. I'm blanking. What are they called? You go down, you come back up to your hamstrings. It's insane. Achilles busters? No. If you're no, they're not regressive. What are they called? No, not sets, Gio. I'm talking about the move where you have your legs locked in and you go down and you come back up. I'm forgetting on the name of them. Anyway, I got to do 5 of those, which are near impossible. It's all hamstring. If you're gonna tear anything, it's your hamstrings, not your Achilles.
You're talking about where you
Nordic curls. No. Nordic curls. That's the standing position and going up. They call that the core squat. I can't do that. I don't think my knees will ever let me do that. But the Nordic curls, they're called Nordic curls. You have your legs where this bar is. There's a little like device that you put them under. You have to hook it up, and you just go down and you touch your chest and come up. You go down, touch your chest, and come up. It's all hamstrings. It's really hard. But anyways, my 60-day challenge is to hold the dragon flag, this move right here, for 45 seconds and do 5 Nordic curls. So that's the challenge. Go get your core board. Link is dropped one more time in the live chat. Code Smitty gets you 10% off. Sometimes you just need something to help you. And this system with the bar and all the different weight bands and the ability to do sit-ups and put your feet under there and the ability to do push-ups on it, it's awesome. Pike push-ups where you put your hands on it and you raise your rear end high in the sky and you make like almost like a triangle and you do like downward push-ups, almost like your feet run a wall. They're called pike push-ups, I think. All right, hey, got to go, Farb. Appreciate you. Go get a
Later, man.
Later, bro. All right, Travis, any final thoughts? I'll be back tonight, everyone.
Yeah, just with Patrick Milton, I think he probably goes top 5 no matter what, or do you think I don't see the Jaguars passing on him, put it that way. If the Patriots pass on him, I think the Jaguars will take him and just have amazing 1-2, because that's their main goal. Was they have to develop Trevor Lawrence with that contract. So that would be my guess there. And then I think, like you said with Warren, Like, I've seen that too, where starting to get the Bowers comparison, it's almost seems like he's going to be a lock to go top 12, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, if he goes somewhere like, Indy would seem like a good spot, but I don't know that it would be, because I don't know what AR5 is going to do consistently for him. A place like Chicago, first of all, they got to go offensive line, but they're such a threat to take Genty at 10. It makes me sick. New Orleans, I mean, would they have the quarterback? I don't know. There's so many places he could go that would be like the Bengals would be interesting. The Bengals would be interesting.
Bengals would be awesome.
Seattle, I don't know that I like that, because I don't know that they're going to have enough work for him. Atlanta, they got Kyle Pitts. Atlanta's capable of double dipping on positions. Miami Dolphins, they got Jonnu. I don't think they would. Dallas,
Chargers,
it's possible. Chargers, yeah, and that would be okay.
They like the tight end.
That would be okay. That wouldn't be bad. I don't know if it would be what you'd want for a lad, but they're gonna bring someone in eventually, catching balls next to lad. So, but yeah, I mean, there's places where it could be good and there's places where it could be bad. But the places where it could be bad are the ones that concern me. And let's keep in mind that teams can do weird things. Like Michael Mayer was taken by the Raiders, and then they took Brock Bowers the next year. And Michael Mayer was arguably the number one. Him and Kincaid were the number one ranked tight ends, and they were very highly regarded. Like I would say Michael Mayer isn't as highly regarded as Warren, but people forget how hyped he was.
Up there.
He's still very good. They should trade him.
Yeah. My last question real quick was, do you see a world where, well, I guess obviously there's a world where we have, but do you think the top Ward and Shador will go in the top 3 books, or do you think one of them falls out of it?
I think they will.
Unless there's a Darnold or a Fields in there, or one of those you don't want to QB, I don't see the Giants passing on one of those.
The only way this won't work is if, let's say, Carter goes.
Yeah.
Let's say Travis Hunter goes 1, and then Carter goes 2, which is possible. Then all of a sudden you've got the Giants take, Shador or Cam, and then the Raiders get the other one at 6. I mean, that's the only other scenario that could happen.
Okay, yeah.
So Travis Hunter would have to be the one to kind of kick it off, I think. But I do think Cam Ward, I like Cam Ward a lot. I kind of like Cam Ward. I've said this the last handful of weeks. I like Cam Ward a little more than Shador right now.
Yeah.
Shador, man, there's that one stat that's crazy. Let me pull up Shador Sanders.
Yeah. That's a really good one.
This is insane. When you guys see this, you're going to be like, what in the hell? This doesn't even make sense.
It looks like a mistake. It looks like a typo.
Yeah, so hold on one second. Let me get it up there. Career stats. This is crazy. So here's Shador Sanders' rushing stats, his career rushing stats. Now he's got touchdowns, and that's I think the thing that people think. They go, okay, he scored 3 TDs in 2021, six rushing TDs in 2022, 4 and 4 in 2023 and 2024. So 4 touchdowns each. So it's like, okay, he's a running quarterback, right? Everyone kind of thinks Shador's a running quarterback, and he can run, but look at his rushing stats. -17 on a season. 173 in 2022. -77 in 2023. -50 in 2024. On the year. It is crazy. The losses that he'll take and things like that. That is some of the wildest statistics you could be thrown at somebody on the season. -77 and -50 in back-to-back years. And granted, the crazy part is he's a check down artist, right? And so everyone's like, so how's he takes a lot of losses, and oh my God, these are just, that's astronomically crazy. I'm not saying that those numbers make me, think he'll fail, but I like Ward a lot more. I think Ward is more polished. I think he's confident. He seems smart. I'm not trying to say something really negative about AR5, but I know a lot of people, even though AR5 is a totally different quarterback than Cam Ward. He's a running quarterback. Yeah. But a lot of people try and say, well, Cam Ward's is going to be the next AR5. They're totally different players. And Cam's not a running quarterback. He's a pocket passer. He's a 4,000-yard passer. He's a guy that bet on himself and kept going to different teams and doing it and succeeding. And so if anybody can get through adversity, it's Cam Ward. I want Cam Ward to go to the Browns or the Raiders or the Giants. I don't want him in Tennessee. If the Tennessee Titans take him at 1, that's where Shedeur could flip into my number 1 quarterback, because I can't stand Tennessee. But maybe he turns Tennessee around. They definitely, the reason why they've never been turned around is they continue to have garbage quarterback play. So I could get behind it. I'd rather him go to Cleveland, where I think he could win right away. I'd rather him go to New York, where he'd take neighbors to the moon. I'd rather him go to LV, where he could kind of win right away. I'm not saying that they win playoff games or anything like that, but like Cleveland could go to the playoffs with Cam Ward. The Giants could do what the Lions did, where the year before they became the team that they are now, they showed signs of it, missed the playoffs, but everyone said, holy crap, the Lions are coming. I think that's the kind of year that the Giants could have with Cam Ward, where it's like it doesn't end up panning out, a lot of close losses, a lot of close wins, and they just miss the boat, but they're there. Everybody knows they're here. Cleveland's got the supporting cast to help Cam Ward win right away. They could be the Houston Texans the year that Stroud took his team to the playoffs, and they look pretty good. But Titans are just, I don't know, they're just a bad organization. All right, Travis, I'll see you tonight. Later, bro. Okay, I'm out of here, everybody. Appreciate you. We'll be back tonight for Underdog Drafting. Promo code Smitty. Link in the description. Link is pinned in the description. Or link is pinned in the live chat. Link is in the description as well. Let's circle back tonight. We're talking Laporta. The headline of the show. We don't just do drafts. Oh, we're going to draft. Jump in. We do a headline topic, a strategy, a piece of news. So tonight we're kicking off the Graveyard Show, the After Dark Show on Sam Laporta and why he can win you a league in 2025. And he might just crack a list tonight, one of the big board lists of Moonmen, Marsmen. Deuces. Thank you for the super chats tonight. Thank you to BBQ. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, BBQ again. Thank you for the super chats, my boys. It's always about midnight. Graveyard Show is always right around midnight Eastern. Later.